Welcome to Silicon Scoop, where we dive into the latest tech news impacting the world. Join John Irwin and the Startup Coach as they explore the tech news that matters to you. Stay ahead, stay informed, and now on with the show.
We spent decades chasing every new mutation of the flu and COVID with a needle. But Stanford just changed the game by moving the battlefield to the nose. This isn't just a new vaccine, it's a software update for your lungs that could make the seasonal flu shot a relic of the past. This is what they're calling one spray to guard them all. Researchers at Stanford have developed a pathogenostic nasal spray that reprograms the lung's innate immune system instead of teaching your body to recognize one specific virus. It primes your respiratory tract to block almost anything from COVID to pneumonia-causing bacteria. This effectively creates a universal shield, potentially ending the era of chasing variants and reducing our reliance on antibiotics for secondary infections. What do you think about this, John?
I think this is cool, and we're going to get a lot of anti-vaxxers, the haters talking or speaking up about this. But I think this is cool. It kind of seems too good to be true to me, but let's dive into it for a second. So this experimental intranasal vaccine, it's designed to provide a broad protection against respiratory pathogens. So instead of targeting a specific virus or bacterial protein, the vaccine works by stimulating both the innate and adaptive immune systems in the lungs. And that's what creates a long-lasting defensive state. So traditional vaccines, what they do is they teach the adaptive immune system to recognize a specific pathogen's antigen. So like spike protein from the SARS-CoV-2. But the problem is that viruses mutate frequently. Like how we have different flu and different COVID and different things like that. So the Stanford team instead designed a vaccine that mimics the signaling environment of a real infection, which activates immune pathways that are effective against many pathogens simultaneously. So how it works is the experimental vaccine contains a formulation called GLA3M052LS, and that's combined with a protein antigen, OVA. And so the adjuvant components, they trigger immune signaling pathways similar to those activated during infections. So that's what stimulates the recruitment and activation of immune cells in lung tissue. So these signals cause immune cells, which include macrophages, dendritic cells, and T cells, to form long-lasting protective networks in the respiratory tract. So this local immunity is especially important because respiratory pathogens typically infect the nasal passages and lungs first. So I love this. And so the results, there were some results in animal experiments. So in the mouse study, animals that received multiple doses of the nasal vaccine, they showed protection against several threats simultaneously. So coronavirus and SARS, influenza, the flu, bacterial pathogens such as strep throat, and allergens like house dust mites. And the cool thing about this, which I think is awesome, the protection lasted at least several months after vaccination and animal tests. What do you think about this? I'm excited about this one.
I think this is really interesting. I love it when science breaks through, and anytime we can help out our immune system or fight diseases or prevent that kind of thing, I'm all for it. I also want to make sure, we talk about anti-vaxxers and stuff. I like my vaccines thoroughly tested. I like the long studies that know the side effects and all that kind of stuff. So you can call me what you want. But currently, this is in preclinical success, like you said, mice, and the phase 1 human trials are next step. So we expect to see potentially a 3 to 5 year window before it's publicly available. This is like upgrading your home security system, where a traditional vaccine is like giving your guard a wanted poster for one specific burglar. If a guy wears a mask or a different hat, he gets right past. This nasal spray is like installing a high-tech motion sensing floodlight with an automatic deadbolt on the front door. It doesn't care who the intruder is. It just makes entryway impossible to penetrate. So it's likely to be a premium but cost similar to what happens and what is now. And there apparently is a 3-month duration, a single dose cycle provided is continuous 3-month protection. So that's interesting. They've seen a 90% reduction in viral loads and lung inflammation markers during this challenge when they were doing the tests and stuff. So the other thing, I think you mentioned this, but this utilizes the trained innate immunity by delivering synthetic immune signals. The cytokine, chemokine mimics to the musical surfaces, and it reprograms lung-resident macrophages and dendritic cells. So it moves the defense from the adaptive system, a slow, to an innate system, which is, cool. So the one thing to note here is that this actually works on allergens as well. So in the Stanford study, mice treated the vaccine showed a massive reduction in inflammation when exposed to house dust mice. The push to pathogen agnostic tech is largely driven by the 100-day mission, which is a global G7 initiative to have vaccines ready within 100 days of the next pandemic threat. And while most vaccines focus on a Y-shaped antibodies in the blood, this targets secretory, IgA, and a local cellular barriers, essentially fighting the war at the border instead of in the capital city. So there's still some concerns about a cytokine storm risk and other things. So we'll have to see how long this takes to get through and where we're going to get FDA approval. But I do love where this is going. Go ahead.
Yeah, the other cool thing is that mathematical models are suggesting that if these nasal sprays, if they're used during outbreaks, it could dramatically reduce infections if it's deployed early in high-risk environments like, say, conferences or ships, right? So I'm excited for this. So a few challenges ahead. Obviously, we got to look into safety, right? So there's long-term immune stimulation, which could cause inflammation. There's the human respiratory systems. The thing with the ones in humans, they're more complex than in mice. And the duration of the immunity, they have to prove that, especially for humans. So the cool impact, if we were to talk about potential impact on public health, we're going to have fewer seasonal vaccines. We're going to have better protection against emerging viruses and easier mass vaccination campaigns, which I think is good to help us for future pandemics. Because if there's one coming. It's just a question of when.
Yeah, there's always one coming. It's just like we're all pre-death. So we're moving from a reactive defense by variant strategy to a proactive fortress lung reality. I really like this plan, but we do have to run the test and see the side effects and what are the risks of the cytokine storm and the other things involved. But if this gets FDA approval, would you give up your annual flu shot for a 3-dose nasal spray that covers everything? Or does reprogramming your lung immunity sound a little too sci-fi for you? Let us know what you think in the chat.
Tired of drowning in repetitive tasks while your competitors race ahead? Every minute you spend on manual data entry, scheduling, and routine processes is a minute you're not growing your business. Flowgrammer.ca transforms your workflow chaos into seamless automation. We build AI-powered systems that handle your busy work so you can focus on what actually makes you money. Our clients typically save 15 plus hours per week and see their productivity double within 60 days. Visit flowgrammer.ca for a free automation audit. That's flowgrammer.ca. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
What do you got going on, John?
Just plugging away, helping companies with government funding, attending events, probably startup drinks or Flowgrammer events. How about you, Craig?
Lots of stuff going on. I honestly don't know when this is going out. I have to check. I think it's going to go out in April. But there's all sorts of stuff going on. If you don't know about OpenClaw, it's the latest AI automation agent that's taken the world by storm in 2026. And OpenClaw Toronto chapter just launched. And we have all sorts of events going on. So check out openclawto.com. Our first demo night is April 14th. We have a Builder Cafe on April 10th. We have a bunch of other events. There's updates every day. We've deconstructed the latest 2 betas over the weekend that was launched in OpenClaw and what you should do about them. There's a bunch of articles over there. Go check that out. We're also over at flowgrammer.ca where we do N8N automations. We run the Flowgrammer community. I do Builders Hub and connectivity for AI and business automation agents. And for everything else, head over to TorontoStarts, where we hook up startups and investors at our Startup Investor Drinks. We do mentoring, we do workshops, we have a list of investors. There's a whole bunch of content over. You can also book me over there if you want a meeting with me to talk about whatever, help your startup. Check out TorontoStarts.com. But John, if people are looking for non-dilutive funding, where should they go and what is that?
Yeah, non-dilutive funding. We're talking government grants, tax credits. Come find me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Right now is shred time, SRDD. But come reach out to me too if you've got a startup, if you've got a company, reach out to me if you have any questions. And if they have company questions about their startup in general, where do they find you, Craig?
Yeah, find me at TorontoStarts.com. But John, just before we go, something's open right now, and it's closing May 31st. Thank you. Can Export. And what?
Yeah. So
what
if
should
you have
people
at
know
least
about that?
300,000 in revenue in the previous year, and you're looking to expand outside of Canada, reach out to me, and we can put together. We can talk about an application for Can Export.
All the links we talked about will be in the show notes, wherever you're watching this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Silicon Scoop. We hope you enjoyed this episode's dive into the latest tech news. Stay connected with John Irwin and the Startup Coach on LinkedIn and subscribe for more insights and updates. Until next time, stay ahead, stay informed.